Om. Hello and welcome to this talk on the nature of jnana, self-knowledge, realization, oneness with the source of our being. And specifically, I would like to talk about enlightenment, self-realization in the context of Kundalini awakening and the Shaktipat tradition. Kundalini Shakti, the Kundalini energy, is the energy of God. It's a storehouse of grace that is inherent within each human being. It's inherent within the soul. It's the coiled potentiality of the soul's oneness with its source, with the ocean of consciousness, the ocean of bliss, the ocean of divine love. And when Kundalini awakens, this potential energy, this potentiality that was coiled is released. So a potential energy that was compacted in and laying dormant, ready to burst to life, to spring to life, awakens. And it flows throughout our being. It expands our consciousness. It opens the heart. As it travels through the Sushumna, piercing each of the chakras, it opens the potential of each chakra. And when it reaches the heart, divine love flowers. When it reaches the Ajna chakra, the third eye, self-knowledge arises, satori, kensho, sudden awakening, insight into one's true nature. And at the crown, in the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus, Kundalini, as the goddess, unites with Shiva, the ocean of bliss, oneness, being, silence, the totality of what is, in an ecstatic union. This is the union of Shiva and Shakti. The Christian mystics spoke of this as the union of the soul with God. And so, in the process of Kundalini Sadhana, Kundalini Yoga, Kundalini Maha Yoga, in the Shaktipat tradition, there are various sadhanas that we can undertake, such as mantra yoga and jnana yoga and dhyana yoga. Atma Vicharya and Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga. And when we engage in these sadhanas as Kundalini yoginis and yogis, we are essentially joining with the goddess. We are joining forces with the Kundalini in her goal of uniting with Lord Shiva in the crown. The dynamic, vibrant energy of pure potential that awakens in the spine and travels to the crown is yearning to merge with her beloved, Lord Shiva, the ocean of stillness and silence. And how do we do this? How do we join with Kundalini in the goal of uniting with the source of our being in the Sahasrara, uniting with Shiva in the crown? We join by engaging in a mood and disposition and attitude, and in activities that support the mood and disposition and attitude of longing for the beloved. She is longing for the beloved. We are longing for the beloved. And that can take the form of self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is a perfect example of a practice that wholeheartedly supports Kundalini in her ascent. Why? Why does it support Kundalini in her ascent? Because in self-inquiry, our goal is the same as her goal. Your goal needs to be the same as Kundalini herself in her wish, which is to unite with the beloved. And in self-inquiry, the meditation, what am I? Who am I? There is this sense of presence. What is it? Let me look. I want to know it directly. See, right there in that wish, in that intention, to know yourself directly, to know the truth of yourself, to know who and what you are. When you engage that intention in a wholehearted manner, to a greater or lesser extent, when you orientate the totality of your being in the direction of, I want to know myself. I want to discover my own being. What exactly is this I am, this sense of presence? That movement within us, which actually is a manifestation of Kundalini, like that is an expression of and a function of awakened Kundalini, that you would have the desire to know your true nature, and that the thought arises, what am I? Who am I? That you feel moved to explore self-inquiry if you find yourself absorbing teachings on Atma Vicharya, self-inquiry. That is a manifestation of grace. That is a kriya. You could consider that to be a yogic kriya, that you pick up a book and read about self-inquiry and then sit and feel spontaneously drawn to explore the nature of your own beingness. is a manifestation of Kundalini, and that activity is a powerful way and the ultimate way to support Kundalini. And activities that arise from the mood of devotion, of Bhakti yoga, the love of the divine. You might be walking on the beach and you're admiring the ocean and the views at the beach. The waves are rolling in and your heart is opening, and you look at all of that manifest reality as the play of consciousness. All of this is my own being. All of this is a manifestation of God's love. Right here against my face, this ocean breeze is the kiss of the Divine Mother. The sand that I walk on is the Lord Himself in the form of the sand. God has taken the form of this sand. God has taken the form of this body. God is seeking God within God. This is the Mother's Leela. This kind of disposition, this kind of attitude, this kind of mood is a mood, an attitude, a disposition, a way of approaching life that supports the Kundalini process, because Kundalini herself is rising upwards. My Lord, my source, Shiva, 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 Shiva. There she comes rushing up the spine, into the crown, into the heart, exploding as divine love. The heart flowers. And so our sadhana is a way of joining with, being in union with the movement of Kundalini. So our yearning for God, our yearning for oneness, our yearning for the revelation of what is, our interest in spiritual enlightenment. We are going for nothing less than union with God. Enlightenment, self-realization, full self-actualization, the fullness of the flowering of our human potential, whatever that is. And so any activity that we engage in, whether it's mental activity such as mantra repetition, reflecting on the teachings, taking a line from a book such as this, the sayings of Ramakrishna, reading it and then reflecting on it, sitting with it, or reading and reading and reading, if your heart opens. This is both a way of supporting and encouraging the flow of Kundalini, and it's an expression. It's right to think of it as an expression of, as a sign of awakened Kundalini energy. So our longing for the goal, our longing for the beloved, our expressed in Bhakti yoga, expressed in Jnana yoga, expressed through service. You see someone obviously suffering with a begging bowl, and they ask you, please, do you have a few dollars? And you give them what you can, or you give them more than you can afford, with the attitude, that's my own self. There is the Lord of the universe appearing before me in the form of a suffering human being. And that is the Lord of the universe appearing before you in the form of a suffering human being. And when you relieve the suffering of that human being, you are relieving the suffering of your own self. And that action, that activity, is an expression of your devotion to God, is an expression of your longing for oneness with God, or an expression of your understanding of the already existing oneness of consciousness. All this is our being. This room is an expression of consciousness. The Lord of the universe is appearing as this body, as this room, as this planet. This kind of bhava, this kind of devotional mood supports the process of Kundalini awakening. And to take the stand, all this is consciousness, which is the understanding that is revealed when Kundalini reaches the Sahasrara. To have this attitude now already. The divine energy is moving through all of creation. God alone is the doer. I am an instrument. The waves in the ocean are a direct, living, present manifestation and expression of God's love. Wow. Seeing everything as God. Having the understanding God alone is. This is the ultimate way to support, to quicken, to encourage, and to elicit, and to cooperate with the Kundalini process. Thank you.